Hello out there in YouTube land. This is LaWanda, will be LaWanda. And in case you don't know, I am a survivor of known childhood sexual abuse. I create these videos every day to break the stigma surrounding abuse and to also reach the people who need to be reached. My goal here is to encourage healing in any way that I possibly can. So survivor, let me tell you something. Nobody talks about the identity crisis that comes with healing. Everybody talks about the trauma. Everybody has an opinion about the pain. Everybody certainly wants to talk about what happened. But truthfully, nobody wants to talk about what happens when the role of the victim begins to fall away as they transition into becoming the survivor. And that's the question that I have been wrestling with lately. Who am I without that role? Who is LaWanda when she is no longer keeping everybody else comfortable? Who am I when I no longer carry the responsibilities that never belonged to me in the first place? Who am I when I no longer am willing to protect the big family secret? Who am I when I am no longer becoming what everybody else needed me to be? Who am I without that role? Because for a long time, that role and that person was the same thing. I knew exactly who I was supposed to be. I was supposed to be the strong one. I was supposed to be the dependable one. I was the one who allegedly could handle carrying that baggage. I was the one who was able to absorb all of the discomfort that surrounded our family secret. I was the one who was assigned to carry the burden. I was the one that could easily make everyone else comfortable because I wasn't telling the truth. And I knew that version of me. I had practiced being her for decades. But oh, let me tell you, when healing started changing things. My boundaries got stronger. My truth got louder. When I stopped carrying the responsibility for the abuse that I suffered, that never ever belonged to me, I found myself standing in very unfamiliar territory. It wasn't because I was lost. It wasn't because I was broken. But it was because I finally began to meet parts of myself that had been buried underneath everybody else's expectation. That's when I realized something very, very important. For most of my life, I was responding. I was responding to the family dynamics. I was responding to the dysfunction. I was responding to the expectations others had of me. I was responding to what they needed from me. Because healing was not something we discussed. And believe you me, when it happened, it changed all of that. Healing forced me to ask questions that I never really asked before. It made me ask questions like, what do I want? What is it that I believe? What brings me joy? What kind of relationships do I want? What kind of life do I want? What kind of woman am I becoming? Notice what I did there. I didn't ask, who was I? I asked, who am I becoming? Because healing isn't just about recovering from what happened. Healing is about discovering what is possible next. Let me tell you something. That part of the discovery process can feel very awkward, especially when you have spent years being needed by the same ones who betray you now. It can feel strange asking yourself what you need, especially when you've spent years managing everybody else's emotions. It can feel strange to pay attention to your own identity when you've spent years making decisions based on what keeps everyone else comfortable. I know that can feel strange. I know it feels strange to choose yourself. But strange doesn't make that wrong. It means you are learning. It means that you are stretching beyond the norms of what you've experienced. It means that you are now growing into parts of yourself that never had room to exist before. I think that is what has surprised me the most. I thought healing was going to be about looking backwards. But instead, healing keeps asking me to look forward, not at just what happened back then, but now to look at what is possible. It's not about just looking at what I survived, but now it's looking at who I can become. Healing just didn't change my relationships. It changed my relationship with myself. Now, I trust me more. Now, I listen to myself more. Now, I honor my instincts more. I am absolutely, positively able to say no more often. I have certainly stopped explaining myself. I give myself permission to tell the truth at whatever the expense may be. And most importantly, I am giving myself permission to become the woman I was always supposed to be. Not just the version of what my family expected out of me, not what my trauma demanded, not who the role required, but who I was always meant to be. So if you are in that uncomfortable space right now, where the old version of you who tolerated the trauma doesn't quite fit anymore with the new version of you, because that new version of you has finally arrived. And do not panic. You are not lost. You are not failing. You are not doing healing wrong because you now have standards. You are becoming. And beloved, that becoming is messy. Becoming can be uncomfortable. That becoming requires a level of patience that you might not be used to. But I can tell you this, it is beautiful. Survivor, if you've been wondering who you are without the role that you assumed, maybe that's not a sign that you've lost yourself. Maybe it's a sign that you are finally free to find out who you really are. On this journey, I want you to feel seen. I want you to know that what happened to you, it matters. I want you to know that healing from this is possible. It might not be easy. It may not come fast. It's certainly not pretty, but it is possible. I am here daily using my story, my experiences, my mistakes, and my healing journey to remind you of something critical. You do not have to stay where survival left you. You can grow beyond it. You can heal beyond it. And listen to me, you will make it. If these conversations are helping you, would you do me a favor? Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share it with somebody who may need to hear it. There are 42 million Americans struggling with childhood sexual abuse. If we reach them, we will grow this community. If we reach the people who are still suffering in silence and give them hope, we will now have the ability to heal together. This is LaWanda will be LaWanda always, because everybody else is already taken. I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.